Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to your least favorite podcast, Please Get Help, where we sit here
Holy.
and ramble on like we know what the fuck we're talking about.
It has been 10 years since we've been here.
Yeah, pretty much. It's been a while. With me, I have my wonderful co-host, Tojic,
Yeah.
animator, writer, guy that keeps us in check, and then Taz, gun nut, knower of cursing
Bruh.
memes.
It may or may not be schizophrenic.
The jury is still out. And me, Jack Thunderbolt, somewhat knowledgeable nerd and somewhere on the rung of this. Anyway, our first topic, our first topic. We're delving the first thing on my podcast topics list. What is the best way to do player NPC relationships? Every NPC is bi or pansexual, or each character has different sexual preferences, aka Skyrim v New Vegas romance system. We're trying to make up for doing an entire hour and a half episode about animals the beginning of last month.
Well, do you want to start us off on
I guess
this?
I think the better way to explain it, I will, is the Skyrim system is where the the NPCs don't have any set preferences of the player. So your player can be whatever and they can marry whoever. It's not like the Smith in Riften is into guys versus like one of the companions is only into girls and vice versa and a mix of and everything. And then there's the New Vegas system where the characters do have set preferences. Then again, that's probably because the romance system for New Vegas is much more involved than Skyrim, at least on the excuse me. Because like most of the characters are like straight, but there's Veronica, who's a pure lesbian. I probably shouldn't say pure, but it is a lesbian. We meet her current slash ex girlfriend. There's Arcade, who is a gay guy. I'll say flaming homosexual, but he's not really flaming, is he? He's not extravagant,
I,
as like the stereotype is.
Honestly,
And
the
then I
only
think
clips
Boone
I've
is
ever seen
bi.
of Arcane is him him basically babying the player character if you have low intelligence.
Oh yeah, it's like
Because that's like one of the ways you can
to,
recruit
to,
him is by
to get
having
Arcade,
low
you gotta have to be really
intelligence.
stupid or very. I haven't played with Arcade yet, but like, I mean, I haven't finished the game, but most of my characters have been like cowboy or like soldier-ish, you know? So I've like gravitated to Boone and Raul and Eddie and Rex. Uh, we should probably get to like the actual argument, shouldn't we? Uh,
Most likely.
that was probably enough context for what we're talking about.
So, which system would you say is better to do? Like, if you were to implement it into a game?
Honestly, I think it really depends. If it's like, say, if it's something like The Sims or the medieval Dynasty games, it's like, or Skyrim, where getting married as like a very side quest. I'll get to what you just said, Tess. It's kind of difficult having to like pause and read for him, but uh, anyway, because it's really gonna depend on the level of involvement. If like marriage is just a mechanic, then I guess having all the NPCs be open to everything would be the best move, and then you pick what you like. It's like, ooh, this character likes broody guys with dark hair. Oh, this character likes the flamboyant pink fire hair lizard lady. But for like things with character, the like characters where you have to get to know them and like do things for them, and you develop a story with them, like Baldur's Gate, the Fallout games. Then it'd be like more to have their own preferences, so they're more like actual people. And it's like you let these stories bloom, I guess.
Yeah. Taz said I do it
So I think,
the way
can I
Cyberpunk
say the
does it.
reason why I put this topic on here real quick?
Sure.
At one point, I had gotten into playing Greedfall, which is like, think of like the early colonization of America, but it's like a different island, and then there's who are basically the fantasy version of the uh Venetians, and then there's the Spanish Inquisition faction. Put him down and go to bed. And then there's the Caliphate slash Ottoman Empire people, where it's like a united alliance of Muslim coded people, and they all go to this island and they have to deal with the natives and all the monsters on the island. And so, because I was into this game, I was also on Tumblr and looking through the Tumblr stuff for this game to get like the extra fan art and like, oh, this person thought this of this game and whatnot. Because when I hyperfix something, I fucking hyperfixate.
Right.
Like, I cannot start a movie without immediately looking what other content is out there. Anyway, there's this one like screenshot of a tweet or something, and somebody said, I spent all this time romancing this character, and then he rejected me because he's not into whatever gender this character was, the player character was. And I'm so mad. Why was this character allowed to be straight? All characters should just be bi pan, which that's a I'm not saying either or for this person that wrote this, but it's like that was kind of thought provoking, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought that'd be good to talk about because we play games with like both sides of the spectrum. So I thought that'd be an interesting, lengthy conversation.
Yeah, and to be honest, going into this question, my mindset was like, well, if it's an RPG game, then yeah, do it Skyrim way. Just have all the characters swing whichever way the player character is. Because that leaves the player up to imagination in their own world and, all that. But then the more I think about it, it's like, well, both ways are pretty viable because it's like you do the Skyrim way, and it's because it's an RPG role playing game. You let the player kind of build their own world, their own fantasy. Same for like The Sims. They just can role play their own character with ease. But then like how Cyberpunk and I guess Greedfall does it, all the NPCs have their set preferences, and I'm thinking about it, and it's like, well, that also adds on to the whole role playing experience because it's like You know, you don't always get uh, the girl you want because she likes other ladies. You know?
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry, it looked like the cat was gonna go on the counter again. Uh, yeah, it really does seem like it's more dependent on the game, and like if and also if there is a romanceable mechanic, mechanic is the word in there.
Yeah.
Though it's like in some games, there really isn't a mechanic. Like I was saying, and for the you've probably seen Medieval Dynasty and its spin-offs, right? It's like build a village and do all this, yada yada. Uh, but it's like it's you can get a wife and you can have sons with that wife, but it's more of just a I'm gonna talk to you enough to a point where you like me enough that you will agree to marry me, and then you just move in and you act like another NPC, but I can put a kid in you.
That's
And
kind of a
then
creepy way of putting it, I'll be honest, but yeah, I get your point.
in Skyrim, it's I like you. I want you to stay in my house where I can interact with you more.
Actually, in Skyrim, it's more like, look at this necklace. I'm single. Do you like me? Please like me. Look at this goddamn necklace. I stole it from that dead body over there. Do you like me? Please like me.
I am pretty
Nah,
sure.
nah.
Do you know, like the birds? What was it? The fucking penguins that get like shiny rocks and brings them to other penguins they like. That's exactly what it sounds like.
You like this shiny rock? Look at it, shiny. Do you like me? Please like me. Not.
Actually, that's the way the humans do it with engagement rings and such. Look at this shiny rock. Will you
Look
marry
at this
me?
shiny rock. Will you marry me? I mean,
You
typically
know that
in
two
the
out of three
real
of us were
world, it's
single.
like I would assume you have some sort of formal relationship. So it's more like, hey, I like you. Now, do you like me enough to be stuck with me? Here's a shiny rock. Will you
Yeah,
deal with my bullshit
absolutely.
forever?
Do you agree to
Give me your
the
fucking
possibility
money.
of giving me half your shit if this ever goes south?
uh, I
That
just got flashbacks to
divorce
little
kid humor.
to I
Oh,
just got flashbacks
that's
to
probably
younger me
delving into
playing
things.
Skyrim on the Xbox 360, not aware that marriage was even a concept, wearing the amulet of Mara and wondering why the my followers kept flirting with me.
How's the bunny slug?
Give me your money.
Have you guys seen the videos of doing the pore strips on people's noses and such? That's what the body looks like.
True.
That is even cuter. Look at it.
That mofo microscopic.
He's, I think you've shown this for earlier at a different point. I was like, oh yeah, that is probably something that is horrendously venomous. Probably. You know what, now I come to think of it, uh, let me read Taz's side. At the fried one, I'd do it the way Cyberpunk does it. The characters have their own preferences. And then in response to us talking about the Skyrim mechanics, like, give me your fucking money, Isolda.
Give me your fucking money, you saw.
Oh my god, that little bunny tail! Human brains are so wonky because this is like an actual like beneficial trait we have to like look at anything and go, cute, I want to cuddle it. Probably to our own detriment because everybody here's heard this phrase multiple times or even said it. If not friend, why friend shaped?
Not friend, but well, in that case, I'm pretty sure that mofo too tiny.
Yeah. See, tiny, look our
Excuse me.
bunny. That's that's weird. That's really weird from leave the cat alone, please. That's really weird considering how dark this trait is. Because, like, we've all been babies, right? We've been around babies. Human babies are entirely useless. It's like, what, a horse can, like, get up an hour after it's born. Like, snakes can go off and fend for themselves once they hatch. Turtle babies have to go across D-Day to reverse D-Day to get into the ocean and fend for themselves. We we're a little undercooked. Do you want to know why we come out a little undercooked? Like especially like having like our skulls are not fully formed, especially that is a sacrifice from bipedalism because we fucked up our leg structure. Now we had to try to make the baby small enough and like squishable enough that it doesn't kill slash cripple the mother. And even then, that's like a what 30% success rate. It's like even now, it's like incredibly dangerous to give birth to things.
We should probably get back to the topic.
Yeah, probably should.
I mean,
The
it
is
kind of
wide eyed.
relates, but still.
Yeah.
Um, I was also gonna say, so I guess you could say that the question of this topic was a bit of a trick question, you could say, because at least from my standpoint, I don't really have a preference of which one. I think both are pretty good, and it just depends on how far you wanna be immersive or take the role play experience in Zed game. Like if you're not like super like hardcore role play, then I'd say then yeah, go with the just the NPCs. The NPCs swing with whatever you are, like the whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but
Like
if you
if
want
you're
a more hardcore, uh, like
more story experience,
yeah,
more
story.
story
I don't.
character experience.
My brain keeps wanting to say strict. I don't. Strict's not the right word. Just a more. Yeah, I just what you said, a more story telling like RPG. Then yeah, give a little bit that little bit extra character to an NPC and give them a preference.
Yeah.
But
Uh Tez, you kind of came out of the side with saying set the character's preference, but then it reflects in the story. Do you have any more to say or any more on the topic in general?
yeah, I don't think so.
Before we switch to the next topic, uh, I this is a question I was gonna ask before we got derailed by cutesy wootsy fucking bunny slug. That probably will kill us for something because like nothing is in the ocean is that cute without some dark secret. Uh, which game do you think has the best romance marriage mechanic?
Good question. I feel like it would be. I'm not. I'm not outing myself.
How
Sorry.
humor-
Um.
I guess we should restrict this to games that are actual games and not what you would
Uh,
do on an incognito browser.
I'm. I feel like this is such a cop out answer, but I'm gonna say probably The Sims. And the reason why I feel like that's a cop out is because it's literally a simulation game, so of course it would have a better romance system. But
Yeah.
all the other games that I do play, which is like
Uh,
Elder Scroll, like with a romance system, Elder Scrolls Fallout, and Stardew Valley, like
oh, Stardew Valley is such a
I
good
already
one.
did the gag with Elder Scrolls. That's pretty much do a quest for them and then see this shiny necklace. Do you like me? Please marry me. And
Yeah,
and start.
Stardew, and there's a prehistoric spin-off. I think I've talked about it. That's just Stardew, but Stone Age. They both
Stardew,
have the
yes.
talking gifts kind of thing.
Now, granted, with Stardew, there is actual like character events that happen with it that actually build up to when you can eventually propose to an NPC, and it's all happy and cutesy. But it's the parts in the middle where it's like, oh, Alea here um likes fucking pizza. So while I'm on my route today, I'm just gonna swing by her place and give her a pizza and then fuck off.
Yeah, and you're kind of hamstrung by the fact it's like if you they only say. Granted, I haven't tried. First game of Stardew was like a while ago, like a year or two ago, and I was trying to romance Marnie. I romanced one of the characters in Roots of Pacha, which is the aforementioned Stone Age spinoff. But it was like only give like what one or two gifts a week, and then it's like you talk to them once, and then that's the one thing they say all day, and it only increases once with each talking to, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that's the thing with Stardew is unless you're like me and you install a mod, once you marry an NPC, they become very
One-dimensional.
yeah, because they like have the same set, and I mean they'll randomly do like a random chore for you in the house, and it's kind of it's cutesy, but it's like yeah, but yeah. So go ahead and if you're still tuned into the show, uh, tell us which system you prefer down below,
Yeah, that's
and tell
yeah.
us if
Please,
you've ever
please
been
feel
rejected
free
by a
to
video
engage
game
with us.
NPC.
So that game probably could have done better to like, I guess, close off. Uh, let's close off romantic avenues with this character. But then again, it's like romance and friendship and these mechanics are one and the same,
Well,
right?
yeah, but in my
Oh,
case,
speaking of stuff,
I got rejected by an NPC who wasn't even romanceable. So
I should not have laughed. I'm sorry.
no,
Uh,
this was like a long time ago back on Skyrim on the 360. I don't know. Vivid. I couldn't even tell you what NPC it was. I just remember I found some NPC. I'm like, oh, I like you, and I put on the thing Amara and got no dialogue, and I was like, why don't you fucking like me?
yeah.
But
I wasn't necessarily rejected, but like once I did a because I'm so fucking original. I did a wood elf archer that dual wielded sword and dagger, and then I married Farkas. Side tangent. I went to get my first prescription of ADHD meds, 2021, and the doctor's name was Farkas, like Doctor So and So Farkas.
in a way,
Yeah. Anyway, at some point the game bugged out, and so now my husband and two of the other dipshits we're just in the middle of the woods in Falkreath, going back and forth. Like, I think chasing a dragon that wasn't there,
That is such a fucking
so I
Skyrim
couldn't
thing to
do
happen.
anything. Skyrim gonna Skyrim. I actually, back on topic. Unlike the BS about Stardew characters going, I guess becoming non-characters anymore after the romancing is done. I married the in Pacha. I married the daughter of the chief, who was going to become the next chief. I didn't. I didn't play much longer after that because I lost that hyperfixation at that point. But like, she just stayed in my house and didn't do much. Then again, that's probably because I never like played more than a full in-game day after that. And then my second game right now, I was thinking about romancing Shane, uh, Marnie's nephew that moved in and was working at JoJo Mart. And like, apparently, Jasper, the one other child in the village who's friends with, uh, was it Vincent, the little boy whose dad was got fucked up in the war?
The
Uh, Apparently, Jasper is not his actual kid, and it's just a god kid thing. And Jasper just stays at the farm at the what is it at Marnie's farm if you marry Shane, and Shane just ups and dumps Jasper with his aunt. It's like that would have been such a it would have been a much better story if it was his kid and like his the mom died or left him or something. And then like you gained a stepchild.
true.
Or is that just too much for
I
what
mean,
I guess what's the B rank system or not the system isn't B rank, but it's not the focus. It's like a side
I'm
mechanic
sure there's a
objective.
mod that does that, but I think that definitely would have been pretty cool. But it probably would have been a little too in depth considering like your other
It is
romance
one
options,
guy,
if that
yeah.
makes sense. But
Yeah. Like it's just kind of sad to think that Jasper just gets left there. Doesn't get to see her goddad anymore. Or not much. Uh
all right, we're at a minute, or we're at 28 minutes. Do we want to jump to the second topic, or
I, I don't think I answered my own question yet, but I was gonna say I
oh,
think the best mechanic, at least I've heard of, I think that would go to Baldur's Gate 3. 'Cause it's like it seems to me it's the new Vegas system, but just more. It's like I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3. I've actually got it wish listed and wait for it to go down. It's like seems like the companions are like with you from fairly early, and it's like all through the game you're talking with them and hanging out and whatnot, and there's cutscenes and whatnot. It's like the famous bear cutscene.
whoa, whoa.
Have you guys have you
I
guys seen that cutscene?
I remember IGN reporting about it.
That was like I think the character is like a druid barbarian or something that can wild shape into a bear, a big old grizzly bear. And then they're about to get it on, and he like turns into a bear. And it's like, oh no, I'm sorry. And the character can go, uh, I'll just hold on while you transfer back. Or it's like, bring it on, fucking Scarface or whatever, Bear Daddy or whatever. And it goes on, and then it switches to a squirrel in a tree. Like it switches just before the bear gets onto the bed or whatever. And it switches to the squirrel in the tree, and this poor little squirrel is just eating his acorn. And then he notices what's going on and just in shock drops the acorn. It's mouth a cape and everything. There's there's probably a gif of that in the GIF thing.
I am not
Oh,
Google. I
there's
am not searching that in Discord.
squirrel. And I just wanted to show the squirrel, not that whole cutscene. But like, funny business aside, it's like I said, it seems like, again, I preface, seems like the New Vegas system, but just more.
Yeah, I can't.
I mean, granted, there's what, 14 years of difference between the two games?
Yeah, I can't for sure determine because I haven't seen enough of that game. But although it is funny, it is funny that you pull up Baldur's Gate 3 because I know when it first came out, it was actually super easy to romance in that game to the point that people were like when it first came out were romancing people on accident. Like one of my coworkers was telling me how he was playing the game on his first playthrough and he was trying to romance another uh character in the party and he he went into a dialogue with some other like magic guy in the party and the guy made a comment about like hey maybe I could show you some magic or something, something kind of innocent. And so my coworker was like, "Oh yeah, sure, why not?" Nope, he went down the romance option. Stranger danger.
Yeah, that that probably sounds better than accidentally fucking it up. So like, there's one girl I saw on TikTok, and the new Dragon Age game came out this year,
Oh yeah, I forgot about
and
that.
she's like, "I'm gonna be the first person to romance this character," and then it's like I turn out to be the first person to be rejected by this character. So that kind of sucks. But that reminds me of. Do you have you at least seen the best of compilation from Mike Burnfire about when he and Zach played Mass Effect and romancing the blue one? I can't remember her name, and then the whole time Zach is screaming, "Tali, Tali!" And then like in the compilation for the third game, it turns out that Tali was like underage during the events of the first game. So the game prevented Zach from pulling the cookies out before they were done.
I don't know why
Okay.
that one last off topic thing. When you were talking about the girl in the TikTok, that instantly reminded me of this very very sad TikTok I saw. Um, there was a TikTok of this girl who like she didn't. There was no commentary. It was all just their like text and like the phone camera, and she was talking about how she just started playing Fallout 4 and she was just making her character and she excitingly showed off how I created myself and my boyfriend in this game and I can't wait to go on adventures with him. And the TikTok ends before the bombs drop and I'm like, "Oh dear god." I couldn't help
Can
but
you imagine that being in an argument later? It's like, you did this, yeah, well, you fucking inadvertently made me die, and a video game before the game even started. And you
You
posted
got
it to
me
TikTok.
shot and our imaginary child kidnapped.
Was did you like check the comments for like the like reply to comment video or
No, because this was like years ago at this point.
oh we can probably look it up.
It's
It'll
gonna
be
be really
fine.
fricked if it's like they broke up. They broke up. Shit got real, but
Uh man, that was too good. Okay, are we Taz, do you have any closing remarks? Do you have a game with a preferred mechanic or which game you did think does romance better?
that you would openly out
Not
yourself
to be
for.
mentioned. The the Day Who Shall Not Be Named games, excluding those.
A couple of
Yeah,
obscure Japanese games from like 15 years ago.
that's good enough. Okay, drumroll
So,
please. Second topic. Da-da-da-da-da-da. We are doing what we did 1 or 2 episodes ago. It was either episode 5 or 6 where we talked about westerns the whole time. How would you best do a game set in X time period? Uh, the last one we talked about different ideas for western games, or at least I did, and they said if they liked it or not. So, are we gonna pick out something from one of the games we mentioned, or should I just ask Google for a random uh historical period?
um, well, we mentioned a few games, so
It talks about Baldur's Gate, which
you know what?
is
Actually, I have one. How would you? Wait, what was the question?
how would you how would you make a game that is set in a time period like say the how would you do a game in the Meiji Restoration, or how
so,
would you do a game in like the founding of Jamestown or the Crusades
so
or the
would
Golden
it be
Age of piracy?
possible to potentially flip it the complete other way and say, how would you do a game in the far future?
I think we can do that. But it's like it's Taz, do you think that would be worth looking into? Or is it just too nebulous and like unknowable?
I mean, you could just
The
say, how
original
would you do
prompt
a
is
sci-fi game?
how would you do a game in a certain time period? And Tojic wants to switch that. How would you do a game in the future? So,
True, I like that.
okay. We're doing how would you do a game set in the far future? Mr. Terrence, since I fucking started this train wreck with the first topic, would you like to start?
Sure. Let's see. So, if I was to make a game about like set in the far future.
And you are allowed to say, I would do this game, but with X improvements. Like if
Um,
somebody's already made a game that's like almost damn near perfect, but needs some like slight tweaking, you can just say that.
yeah, in that case, um, I would honestly. I know Taz has heard of it, and I know I've talked to you about it, but if have you heard of a game? Well, I basically, and I guess I'm asking this towards the audience. If you've ever heard of a game called Starbound, But
I feel like I've heard of it. Is that like the VR on rails turret shooter?
no,
There's
Starbound is that game I started
there are
playing
too
with.
many games that start with star,
That is
I
true. That's
have to
kind of
say.
the indie title favorite. That's the game I was talking to you.
Oh, that's the one you wanted to base the Tojic series on. I remember now. It's Space Terraria.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's basically Space Terraria. And for anyone who hasn't played it, listening to this, I highly recommend it if you, especially if you like Terraria, because oh my god, the hours you could dump into that game. But it's the same concept. It's a 2D platform. May or may not. I sorry, I got distracted with what Taz was saying in the chat. Um, what was I saying? Oh, it's basically like uh 2D platform survival builder sandbox like Terraria, except literally your biomes and whatnot are all separate planets, and there's just this big ass galaxy you have as your sandbox, and there's different like species that all have like different faction sort of builds to them. You know, there's like there's humans, of course, and then there's like the apex, which are like monkey people who have like this science slash like military thing aesthetic. There's literally medieval robot people, and it's super moddable, but like literally you could slap on any mod from the workshop and it feels like it was in the game day one. Like it's very good and you could just spend your entire life in it. What I would want to do is I would basically want to take Starbound and simply just make it uh basically just make it 3D. Like just basically like just give it the 3D plane of like Minecraft, I guess. Like just full on be able to
So
build your
like
ship in any which way you
so like
want.
Minecraft No Man's Sky, but with everything from Starbound.
Yeah, pretty much. Basically just make Starbound 2, but it's just Starbound 3D and make it super easy to mod too, like Starbound. Like I just like be able to build ships however you want in a 3D space. I forgot about uh uh yeah, that's basically what I do. A very basic answer, I will say, but like, I feel like Starbound is the best freaking space game I've ever played, and I just would love to experience that in a 3 dimensional plane.
Excuse me. Uh, Chaz said it's the Terraria looking one. I was speaking of you may or not possess the bones of an airship, and then it's the glaring cat that's right in your
The glaring
face.
cat.
Uh,
And then he mentioned a
it's like,
project we will not speak about right now.
oh, okay. Um, Chaz says, excuse me again. I'm chugging down a Major Melon Mountain Dew soda because they're getting discontinued next year, sadly.
Damn.
Paul says, I think I'd like to do a reverse Star Wars thing. You know how it takes place really far in the past, but seems futuristic?
Mm.
So you're saying 40K. Actually, that that kind of is 40K because there are legitimate feudal planets that have been like disconnected from humanity for like thousands of years. But that's probably more of the Imperium's thing. It's like or 30 millennia in the future, but it's like if a really shitty diesel punk met the Spanish Inquisition as a faction, and then it's the squalor of the stereotypical medieval city, but it's everywhere.
Ooh.
So is that kind of what you're thinking he has said kind of after putting a skull on. So would you care to go more in depth about this reverse Star Wars? Oh, the deceptive time period thing, where it's in the future, but everything has regressed. Like, how
Yeah.
regressed? Is it is it like Dune, where it's just the Roman Empire in space or something?
Yeah, Dune's a good example.
For context, an important lore event in Dune is that they were once a super technologically advanced thing with all the computers and everything one would need to go through space. So the AI went rogue. A big thing called the what was the Butlerian Crusade. And then now they use people that are hyped up on space drugs to do the navigating. And they don't use guns anymore because shields apparently make stop guns. So everybody fights with long knives.
Tess said it'd be like Dune, but I have it revealed later in the game. I'd have the players believe it was far in the past until a certain point, and I think that'd be neat. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a pretty good idea. I think also doesn't Chronicles of Riddick do that? Where it seems like it's just another Mad Max ripoff, but there's a whole galaxy out there.
I could not tell you actually. I've never seen it. What that is, Taz and I are in the same boat. I don't know what that. I've actually never
Okay.
seen it.
I'll send a video at some point. But I think mine is I want to do. You guys know the original Star Wars Battlefronts, the 2004 and the 2005 one,
Yeah.
where it's instead of Battlefield, but Star Wars as the newer ones are. It's the you play as the soldiers and you like switch through I guess different MOSs. Like you can be regular infantry guy, anti-tank, sniper, engineer, etc., etc. And then you like can play as different heroes and such.
Yeah.
I think I'd want that, but Halo, because
Hmm.
Halo is uh 500 years in the future, and then so it's like the different like planets of the Human Covenant War. What was it? Harvest, a couple missions of Harvest, Reach, Earth, the Halos, the Ark. Oh, what were there were a bunch of other planets. Operation Trebuchet. The No, that probably wouldn't fit because Operation Trebuchet, where Tom and Lucy were, where all the Spartan threes except those two got decimated, destroying a refueling plant.
Oh yeah.
It's like, dude, the it would basically be Battlefront 2 with a Halo reskin, and then also the what's the advantage of like modern control schemes and and whatnot, and then like graphics and everything, and then you can do more.
That would actually be sick though.
I guess it
Like
would just be.
Especially like you could
finding
switch between like playing a Marine in ODST and then like kind of like how they do the hero
and,
system in
like you get
Battlefront. You can,
far enough into the mission and you've gotten enough kills and whatnot, you get the chance to play as like Master Chief or Johnson, Captain Keys, etc.
yeah,
And then there, of course, would be space battles. There'd be uh the Keys loop. There was the there was Cole's Last Stand. I can't remember what that battle was called, where it's like Keys lured an entire fleet, Covenant fleet, towards the Dwarf Star or something, and he exploded it. And then it looks like he died, but it's like heavily implied he just fucked off with his uh insurrectionist wife on like a ship that was slated to be destroyed in the battle as a fire ship. I'm trying to think of whatever. Oh, the battles for Cairo Station. That the battle
yeah,
around Earth. That would be a space battle, right? Like the
yeah.
Battle of Coruscant battle from the second game.
I'm not gonna lie, and not to cut in here, but something I've always wanted from Halo in general is actually like human war battles. So like an actual battle between UNSC and like insurrectionists and whatnot.
Yeah, that would be pretty dope. And also, like, I guess stop. I guess blindly grabbing at things now that you can't do anything with the trilogy anymore. Because like you can certainly just do a separate game set in this time period.
Yeah,
But like, I mean, some of the best games in the series are spin-offs, Reach and the two Halo War games. So it's like you don't need Master Chief to. I mean, granted, it's fucking Master Chief. Of
and,
course, he's gonna show up in the game, but he's not gonna be the pro tag. There's not really a pro tag.
and to be honest, with like a game like that, you don't even need a set like time period. These could all just be like non canonical, just sandbox battles, just for the shits of it.
Oh, absolutely. Like I can't be the only one that's wanted to like actually participate in the giant land battle during Tip of the Spear, but it's just more regular. Take out the AA guns and
You're
whatnot.
just literally in the mountainside.
Yeah, it's like you can see fucking scarabs just get demolished by a longsword bombing run in the background.
Yeah, no,
Like,
that would actually be
and it's
really
like you get.
sick.
I think it's like someone once said that the Bungie games, that the two latter Bungie games were like an actual war game, where 343 stuff feels like Marvel.
Yeah, yeah, I can definitely see that.
I mean, 343 games are still decent, because like there's definitely a disconnect in the feel of it.
Yeah,
And also, this would just be the perfect time to like to revisit places in games with like a new spin.
yeah, and who knows? Maybe they will do something like this now that they're moving to Unreal Engine.
Yeah. Also, it's gonna show just how much if like everybody except the Spartans are like regular human height, it's gonna make everything scarier. Because like the grunts, 5 feet tall, they're armored and super strong. Fucking elites and brutes tower over everything. And like everything is just scarier now.
True,
Especially if you're just stuck without a shield
I
and
did.
just some
I didn't even think
basic flak
about
armor.
that. If you're playing on like the Covenant side, you could play as a grunt infantry.
Yeah. It's like you got the two different grunt units, like regular infantry with their needler plasma rifle and plasma grenades, and then there's the fuel rod grunts. I don't know, the regular jackals with the shields, and then the sniper
The Jackal Sniper.
projectiles, and then different types of brutes and elites. Oh, and you can play as the drones and hunters too.
Oh, true. That would be like. Oh, and like how in Battlefront, I mean, I know you're talking about the classic ones, but like in the newer ones, you could actually control like the turret of an AT-AT, couldn't you? In like one of the maps.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, but like
So like you
that's
do.
also in the original Battlefront
Oh,
games. You can be any of the tanks on the ground.
but
You
like
can
you
man
do that
turrets
for like a
in the ship.
scarab, like actually be able to control a scarab.
Yeah, it's like you have to go take on this like human fortress, and you like try to take out a city.
Yeah, literally just make it New
Mm,
Mombasa. Literally just make it that part of Halo 2, except you can control the scarab and it's the
yeah,
two sides fighting. That would be amazing.
yeah. Or was what's in fucking remember the intro, the like first cutscene of Halo Wars, the like landing party gets ambushed. That was such a dope cinematic.
That was pretty good cinematic.
That would be
Doo doo doo.
can you, oh, what if they did the Believe in Landfall trailers? What if they fucking put those in?
I forgot about
Like
those.
the World War I-esque trench against the brutes, the random rocky place from the ODST trailer, the dude, fucking Rat's Nest would be so wild playing as a Marine.
That would
And an
be
Invasion of
freaking
Ark.
chaotic. It would also be
And,
interesting if they could somehow make it that in some of the maps you play as the Flood.
oh, yes. This absolutely needs to be like 30 plus missions for each side.
Yeah. And there's so
For
many places you could go with like any of the factions, to be honest. Like
oh,
like here's
absolutely.
another one. What if one of the missions is literally the Great Schism?
Yes.
So literally just
And it's like the
on
Covenant
the High
campaigns like it
Charity.
split.
Yeah.
For it's like taking out the brutes on Delta Halo. Of course there'll be like of course there'll be like fucking cameos and shit.
Yeah, like maybe there's a chance like during this Great Schism there's a chance Master Chief will like spawn and just run through the halls and he just shoots down anyone that gets in the way.
Like in the Fireteam Raven Carl Buster's game.
Yeah. Yeah, he just kind of
It's like,
appears. See,
oh, I
so
would
instantly in my mind, I'm imagining like there's three phases of that or that high charity campaign.
great.
It's like it's the start of the schism, the center part of the schism, and then like at the end, you have it whichever
There's the
side
flood.
lost the campaign become the flood,
Yeah,
and the winning side is just a fight for survival.
absolutely. And then you get to play with all the other vehicles you don't really get to see. It's like, yeah, you play Wraith, Scorpions, etc. But like, as far as I know, there's no mission to fly a longsword or any of the. I don't think you get to fly in a Seraph either.
I
And then like do like
I'm just thinking
get to like
it would be
explore
kind of
some
a
of the other
pain to
vehicles.
like program and design, but like being able to fly your own frigate.
Dude, that's like one of my complaints from the uh original Battlefront 2. space battles. It's like it's kind of a slog, but also the ship turrets don't really do anything. It's like it's not like from the third movie, Revenge of the Sith, the end of the sequence, the rescue Chancellor Palpatine, where the one Republic ship comes up next to the Grievous' ship and they're trading broadsides and there's spectacular explosions and whatnot. There's not that in the game. It's like they're the two, I guess, home base ships are far apart, and then you just have to either take out all the fighters or like destroy parts of the ship.
Yeah.
Don't score him.
The closest we get to that is Reach,
He's fine to get in there. Sorry.
but
I guess with like modern hardware and whatnot, and like with everything we've seen out of the games, you can really do something magical
yeah, you could just go
if you don't
crazy
cock
with
it
it.
all up. What do you think, Taz? What would you like to add on?
I'll keep it real on this.
Under the
Well, we are at an hour and 5 minutes, so we have reached our criteria for the day.
Yeah, that probably is good enough. We've got our yapping in. It feels good to do these again.
We did take a long break, whether it was intentional or not.
Yeah.
But
Sorry we couldn't do any more spooky month streams, guys.
life gets in the way. But
Yeah.
anyway, well, thank you all for watching or listening rather, and down
If you
below.
have any if you have thoughts on the best way to do a romance system and which game did romance best, or you have an idea for a sci-fi far future game slash uh old sci-fi game that should be revamped or something, do tell us. Or just tell us how much we suck. We'll read it. We'll we'll get back to you in the next one. Don't worry. We're just desperate for validation.
And with that, hope
Actually, I
you
probably
all
am, but
have a good night.
yes. Thank you, everybody. Good night. Say good night, Tess.